Oh, hi guys, it's Jan again with this with my what do you call it? Super 2 body damper Avante MS. It's not an MS. It's the Mark II Avante Mark II body on it, and it's the bumperless version as well. And this is the update of the old car that the other car that I built. Basically, I built it about a week after I built the other one, because the other one was a bit heavy. But I still like my Whitting Bird. So it's the improved version of this basically. But I've had issues with with this one, and now I think I basically what do you call it? Solved those issues. It's the reason why I wanted to improve from this one is because, like I said earlier, it's a little bit heavier. It's a little bit heavier than I want it to be. So this is a much lighter version. The biggest difference in weight that actually contributed to me losing weight when I built this one was the wheels. The tires on this one are a lot heavier because they're not trimmed at all. On these ones, these are trimmed large diameter wheels, so you lose a lot of weight when you're using the trimmed large diameter tires. These are the hard tires that I actually had one of my friends, Alvin. Alvin, if you watch this video, thanks for trimming these tires for me. They've been really good. They're very low and they're very close to the edge of the wheel, and they're flat too. The way that he trimmed them, they're basically like flat and perfect, very close to perfect. Yeah, so I lost a lot of weight when I converted over to the large diameter wheels and the trimmed tires. Let's see. And now I'm going to start with the front again and move my way all the way towards the back. It's very much the same build, except this car sits a little bit lower to the ground than the other one. I have a double 3mm front bumper that is secured onto the front of the body, onto the front of the chassis. I cut out the middle, so I lost quite a bit of weight from there, and I cut out the back too, where it's just basically vents. So I lost some more weight from there. I used the 1.5mm popsicle again, and I'm using the lighter weight HG ball bearing rollers, 19mm. And my stabilizers are different from some of the other ones, where I'm using the Super X wheel as a stabilizer. If you cut them, they're basically a 17mm diameter, so you cut them a little bit more, where you only really need the sides, for stabilization. And you're going to be losing a little bit of weight in comparison to this build, because you're using more aluminum spacers to make the stabilizers hit the top, basically maximize the height of the stabilizer screw. And I like it this way because it's a little bit lighter, and it also looks pretty cool. I think I might remove these at some point. I don't think they're necessary. The body damper is basically the same way that one is built, except in a bit cheaper way. I'll show you later. The back is very much the same as that one too, where it's the fully cowled front plate that arches inward or outward, and what that does is that it makes it so that the cornering is a lot faster when you shorten the distance from this point to this point when it's going through the corners right here. Well, it's the same support plate that I built, that I use the rear multi-roller setting stay. Everything is connected to that. The Mini 4-wheel drive Pro support and my brakes over here. This is a little bit of a different way that I built brakes, and if you guys want to know how I built these aren't the normal black brakes, and I haven't actually tried them. We'll see after the video how it works out. I'll be testing this car on a track, and we'll find out how it works out, whether or not it works. But it's an idea that I came up with. I don't know if anybody else has done it, this type of brake. So I'll further explain it to you guys if you guys want me to. I'll make another video showing you how to make this type of brake. It's a little different. I'll just say that for now. And the same thing with the back. I'm using 19mm HG lighter weight rollers, the dish types. Let's see. I'm gonna go remove the body damper so you guys can see the way that I have it built. I really like blue, so if you actually notice, quite a bit of my cars are blue. And the good thing about a bright blue paint job is that you can see it on the track when it's racing around. Easier to see whether or not you're winning or you're losing, you know. It's just a little bit of a practical thing, but I also love the color blue as well, so that's a win-win situation. It kind of rubs off on me, like when I play Magic the Gathering, blue is my favorite color. But that's another story. So I'm using basically spring caps. Technically they're not spring caps. I'm not even sure what they are. I'll have to go find out what they are, but like these are harder to find now in the States. At least I had to go ask my buddy to sell some to me. Luckily he had some. And the way that I have this one built is it's a a combination of the AR Rare and the Super X, the front. This is the natural color Super X wings. When you cut the wings off, you'll get with you get this basically left, and then I cut the edges off so that you know it's you mount the mass dampers here because you want them to pass the mass damper lines that go from the inside of the 19mm rollers to the back. If your mass dampers are past that, you're supposed to be not able to use that, but like in the States we don't check it as often because nobody knows the rules here apparently. That's the center for the AR chassis, and that's what I use for the cut instead of the carbon. It's worked for me so far. It hasn't broken, so I'm happy with the way that it's built. And let me check the gears. I'm pretty sure I'm running 3.7 because I like a little bit more torque. Yep, I'm using the 3.7 gears with a straight shaft. Oops. My monitors just went to sleep mode. Yep, 3.7 gear with the AO620 in the center for less friction. I'll cover that back up so that I could weigh it for you guys so you can see how much it weighs. And before that, I'll show you guys the clearance that I have on the front and the back. Okay, so the front is quite high. I'm basically barely hitting the 2mm mark at the front, and this side's not. Okay, I think this plate isn't even. When I check it on the aluminum, it should be at like 2. So there might be something wrong with this particular flat surface that I have. And on the back should be 1mm. Yeah, 1mm. I don't think this thing is flat. Here, let me go check it with this. There you go. Yeah, if you really want to check your clearances, make sure that you have like a flat surface that you could use for checking the clearance. It's 1mm right there. And the front. Yes, it's 2 here, and it's 1.5. Okay, so yeah, it's more like 1.9mm, 1.9mm. Okay, so that's the clearance that I have on this car. Like I prefer leaving the clearance a little high nowadays because like where we race, my buddies and I like to put the orange ramps, the little orange ramps where a lot of people seem to be having trouble with them, where they would flip over. Well, if you raise your front brakes, not your front brakes, but your front underguard, it'll be a lot easier to clear those because it doesn't give you a sudden jolt when you're hitting the edge as it like goes up and then it goes down, because you get that, like, basically it makes your the chassis pop upwards once it hits it. So with like a higher front underguard, that stops it. There's another way, there's other ways to get past it too, where if you go faster, that might help a little bit, but I prefer racing the front underguard, and the front underguard gear is good enough for me. And if I need to lower it, I could just add another plate under that, and that would be good. You know, that would keep me down if there's lots of slopes. Instead of, if there are none of those jumps, I would probably add another plate here as a basically underguard. That'll make it so that I'll clear the slopes more easily. Let's tighten this up and then we'll weigh it, and then I could show you guys what it's like. I'm gonna run a test. I'm gonna drop it in the track and see how it feels. Okay. Tighten that up. I'd like to make both sides even. So that the mass dampers are a little bit tighter. Okay, so it's pretty good. It's not like an aluminum built car where it basically stays down like this one. Old FM, if you guys remember. Yeah, this one's my most solid car. Basically, you either twist a little bit to the left or right when it lands, or it basically just stays down. Okay, so let's weigh it and see how much it weighs. Let me adjust the camera so you guys could see. So this is with Panasonic anti-loop lights again. Okay. So that is 153.7 grams. That is total. Now I'm going to remove the batteries so you can see how much it weighs without the batteries. Actually, if anybody knows where I could find Super One battery locks that are black, please let me know. I'd like to make it match the rest of the setup, because I don't like running the Super 2 ones, they're a little bit heavier. So there you go. Let's zoom in on that. $117.8. So if you compare that to the other car was 128 grams. This one is about 10 grams lighter than the other car. So the power to weight ratio is much better. So let's say if both of those cars are racing around, I guess I'll do the comparison too. If I'm using a light dash on both of the cars, this should be cornering better and accelerating better than the other car, because it's lighter. And we're going to go and see that later too, when I'm going to go race both of these two up against each other, so you guys can see the difference between them. The diameter of the tires on that one's bigger, so it might get more top speed, but this car is lighter, So we'll find out the difference between both of them. I mean, there's also going to be variations in setup, where that one isn't using brakes, or it's just a slider. I may end up adding brakes on that one so that it's better on the slopes. Because the last time I was racing it, it felt a little bit like it's kind of out of control, but it was still sticking. Okay, so we are gonna go ahead and test this car compared to the other one. See which ones you guys like better. Alright. Okay, now we're gonna check the Avante, the Super 2 Avante body damper. I only have a light dash, but it looks very fast. We're gonna go see how it works. Is it recording? Yeah, it's recording. Okay, check out the Avante. Oh! We're gonna go change the gear and use 3.5 to 1. I'm gonna maximize the speed and lower the torque. Let's see what happens. Let's try it again. There you go, that's the Avante Super 2, and the new brake is actually working very well. We're gonna go see how it keeps working out later on. Okay.